everybody, thanks for stopping in. My last video I did on bison, and when I was editing the video it reminded me that a viewer named Rick Dale asked me if I could do, or suggested that I do a Native American bread called Bannock. He said I could probably do it in my toaster oven, and so I wasn't sure exactly what it was, and I did a little research yesterday and I found a couple recipes, and the one that I found had 5 ingredients. But when I was digging through the cupboard to seeing if I had the ingredients, I found that I had some self-rising flour, and that already has baking powder and salt in it. So I knocked this recipe down to 3 ingredients, and it turned out pretty good as well. Okay, this is pretty simple, and I cut this in half from the original recipe. So what I've already put in the bowl is 1 cup of self-rising flour, and the recipe I looked at called for like a half a teaspoon of sugar, but I'm putting a tablespoon of sugar because I like it sweeter. And then it also called for 1 to 1.5 cups of water. This is warm tap water. But it kind of depends on the consistency that you want your dough to be. And I am just going to make this kind of like a batter and cook it in my cast iron skillet. But if you want to make this into like a loaf and bake it that way, then you probably want it a little bit thicker. So all you do is just keep mixing this by hand and just adding in the water a little at a time until it's the consistency that you want. So I'm going to keep doing this, and I'll be back when it's ready to cook. My dough is all mixed up the way I want it. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the cast iron skillet. Then we'll bake this in the toaster oven for, I did it yesterday and it took about 15 minutes or so. I set my oven to bake at 450 degrees, and this will probably take about 15 or 20 minutes. So we'll be back when it's done. It's been about 15 minutes, so let's take a peek at this. Looks pretty good. Looks like a big old biscuit. Time to get it out of there. Let this sit here and cool for a few minutes. Let me see how the bottom looks real quick. Perfect, didn't burn at all. Let me grab a plate and I'll show you what the inside looks like. Okay, let me cut into this Bannock and show you guys what it looks like. To be honest, it was better tasting than I had expected it to be. Kind of reminds me of, I don't know, maybe a biscuit and maybe cornbread a little bit, but it's different. But it's really tasty, and you know, I will put the recipe that I based this on and this recipe the way I did it. All it was flour, sugar, and water. I mean, you can't get much easier than that. And it only takes 15 minutes to make, too, to bake. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm probably gonna be eating some more of this. Thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll talk to you next time.